I want to make something cool for people to sort of have as an umbrella. Like shit's coming down, but here's this MDE umbrella. Okay, it's going to protect you to some extent and keep you sane and keep you safe. And I'd like to see to do our small part to reverse the feminization of everything. And sort of there are a lot of, not fatherless, but there are a lot of kids whose dads are pussies, and their testosterone's all out of whack, and they're eating garbage and doing research chemicals and DMT and thinking that's going to go somewhere productive, and trying to curtail that a little bit.
Do you sort of perceive yourself as a masculine person? Is masculinity important to you? I call myself the ultimate beta male. For example, you're the alpha beta.
Are you now? What are you? Are you an alpha?
Well, I don't know. Wouldn't you tell me? I mean, I feel like that's something that other people observe and then tell you.
Well, what would you tell based on your observations of yourself that people have said?
Are
you an alpha?
Tell me the characteristics of an alpha male.
Is he the true alpha? He's top alpha in this room.
Alpha waves, like I can feel.
Hell yeah! I'm an example of somebody who started off with a bit of a handicap as far as testosterone and masculinity go, and used research to fix that problem, which I think is what a lot of people are going to have to do. And I think that actually might actually be an advantage, because the people who are sort of natural alphas in high school, they end up doing what? Joining the military, getting married, getting cucked to oblivion by bitch wives. So I mean, there are multiple pathways to alphaness, and I'm going to help you achieve mastery.
I feel like alphaness is something that's kind of elusive. I mean, I think some people might start out in a fashion where maybe that attitude and maybe that kind of way of carrying oneself sort of comes natural to them. But eventually life is going to throw you a left hook, and if you don't fully understand what it is to be masculine or be in control of oneself and be an adult, then it's going to throw you off.
That's what I meant by natural alphas being at a disadvantage, because they haven't had to work or be introspective or figure shit out. They just sort of had that pathway cleared for them, and when the time comes to have your cheating wife, you are a pussy at that point. But I think it's kind of lame to talk about alpha this and alpha, but it's about masculinity. It's just about masculinity.
And what is masculinity to you? Because I think a lot of people who might stereotypically define themselves as masculine, and my dad is probably one. He's very much a tough guy, has an aggressive streak, competitive powerlifter as well. I grew up with him in my life, and I had a very strong masculine influence, but I feel like he probably wouldn't construe you as somebody who's masculine or cares about masculinity, and also in a way,
but I could physically
feel like
trash him.
Okay.
In like 2 minutes. I would probably suplex him so hard that you'd have to
give him a call?
You'd have to pay for repairs to your house. Yeah. I do want you to give him a call. He's going to learn the meaning of pain.
I hope he doesn't listen to this episode.
I hope he does.
He'll ask me for your phone number.
I hope he does, because he's going to get fucking damaged. And he'll get my phone number, and he'll get my address, and he'll come to my playpen, and he'll be my playmate. Okay? But physically beating your dad into submission aside, I think that masculinity it's about having a purpose and fulfilling your purpose. Which has a lot to do with stoicism and being emotionally tempered, and it's a lot of things, but that's mainly what it is to me, is having a purpose, fulfilling it, and not bitching about it along the way, I guess.
Let me ask you, since you seem to be so against the feminization of society, aren't there any benefits to that? Do you think there are any benefits to the feminization of society?
No, it's chaos.
It's chaos.
Yeah.
You don't think there's anything, Would you have rather grown up in the 50s with a stern dad?
Yeah.
Who made sure that you said your prayers before you went to bed?
Not me personally, but I think that would be better for society if the family unit were more intact, and if there were more present fathers. I think that certainly would be much better. Wouldn't you rather have grown up with a single mother in the ghetto? Isn't that what you want? Watching TV all day? That's what feminization, that's what it leads to, is the government the government giving women a paycheck to use their pussies like ATMs and crap out kids. Okay, you get a paycheck for ditching your man. That's what I mean by the feminization of society. It's the female impulse run wild. That's what it leads to, is single motherhood.
But I think there are a lot of dads who aren't present in their children's lives as a choice as well, which doesn't necessarily have to do with feminization, but really just kind of a lack of commitment.
Masculinity is out of whack as well. The balance is completely thrown, but it doesn't help that we make it so easy, not even easy, but desirable for women to have kids out of wedlock. Yes, people becoming sexualized much earlier. It's just everything is fucking nasty all around. Have you thought a lot about masculinity?
I mean, as a man and somebody who is introspective, as you were talking about earlier, and somebody who probably in high school started off on that more beta male side of the spectrum.
So you're an ultimate beta, like me.
You're an omega. You're an alpha, but you reject it.
Got it.
We're beta primes. That's what we are. Hell yeah, man.
It's something I've concerned myself with. Sure, yeah. Yeah, it's something I think of, and I agree.
And what does it mean to you? What does it mean?
I agree generally with what you were saying earlier about having a purpose, having focus, following through, I guess doing something, I guess what I would call is ambitious with your life, and better yourself so that you can help the people around you who you care about. That to me is masculine. Being dependable, I think is and stoicism as well, I think is really important to me. To the point where, sometimes it frustrates me when other people around me aren't showing that same level of stoicism.
I get that a lot, yeah.
But and maybe that's maybe that's not that great of a thing,
I mean, it's it's frustrating when you have to, when you know that you have to get the job done, and people are not in the same mindset, and they have sort of an emotional that sort of shit.
Sure, and I mean, and I'm not beyond getting to that point either. I think all people are capable of getting into that position, but
like throwing your cell phone.
No, not like throwing your cell phone, not like this, not to the point where you're destroying anything, just like, having a moment where you've basically derailed your own self, not like I'm not punching holes in the walls or anything like that, although I've known people who have kind of, those tendencies. Musically, where
John Lennon, the Beatles.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The Imagine song. Imagine there's no religion. That makes me, I just can't. Oh, John, it's fucking no religion. Oh, man, it's fucking great, man. John, there's no race. Oh, man, you're amazing. No possessions. Whoa.
He was a very angry, violent man.
He was a fag.
If you go on Tumblr.
Was he angry and violent?
If you go on Tumblr, they'll
That's
tell
probably
you
the only right thing about him. Did he hit his wife?
The Tumblr will tell you that.
She needed a good old-fashioned whack. Ooh, Yoko Ono. Whack. Stepping out of line. I wouldn't have done that, only in self-defense. But I don't blame John for having emotions, having his problems. Now that's an example of masculinity out of balance the other way.
Sure.
When you're hitting a woman, that means that your masculinity has become so perverted. And so it's almost feminized again. It's almost back to the feminine. And there's definitely something gay about it, gay.
So masculinity is definitely a tightrope walk.
It's a tightrope. Yeah, it is. Yeah.